Hello and welcome to the Mile High Church podcast. Join us and some very special guests as we dive in together, open our hearts and get real to discuss what we've been thinking about. All right, well, this is Barry and we're back, and today we're talking about music, and I brought some of my friends in with me today to talk about music and just the effect that it has on our lives in terms of being healthy, feeling well, and feeling happy. So Jennifer Burnett is here.
Hello. Hello. Hi.
Thom, it was Jennifer's turn to talk.
That's We'll see how this goes. My friend Thom Lich is here.
What's up?
And another acquaintance of mine, Kent Rautenstraus, is here as well.
Guten Tag.
So I just thought it'd be good if we talked a little bit about music and how we use music in our lives. And much as I hate to compliment Kent in his music, I use his instrumental CD Reverie a lot of times when I'm trying to write something, and I'll just get in by my computer, light a candle, and put Reverie on, and it just drops me into that space where I know I'm going to write, and it helps me. And there's all kinds of music that we use for different things from different parts of our past that make us feel joyful, or just that kind of stuff that we feel when we're riding down the road. So I just wanted to kind of get you guys' take on it of how music helps you get through life and feel well, feel joyful. We'll start with Jennifer since she's the best looking of the group.
No doubt.
Oh, wow. That's a big question.
I'm a big thinker, so go ahead.
Music for me is what drops me in. It drops me into my soul. It drops me into my heart. It drops me into the now moment. When I'm listening to music, but especially when I'm performing music, when I'm singing, I can really the whole world disappears. It's like for me, it's the ultimate spiritual practice, right? And when I can't find center, music helps me find center. So I think that's probably the main piece from a well-being standpoint that music gives me, not to mention the fact that, as a singer, as a musician, you use your entire body to do that. You're using everything from head to toe, every breath, every muscle, every limb, everything is being used. And your focus has to be in the moment. It can't be thinking about bills that need to be paid or kids that need to be picked up or what's happening for dinner or anything like that. And so I think that is, for me, that bringing yourself to center, to focus, and everything else just kind of blurs out. And you're just in that moment with that piece of music, with those notes in that time, is the most serene gift we can give ourselves to come back to who we are. And I think that's the seed and the beginning of being healthy.
I like that. A lot of times we're playing music, it takes us so much out of our head, because if we're thinking of other stuff, we're just going to make mistakes. And I remember being playing a rock and roll band, and sometimes if it really felt good, we would be screaming at each other, stop thinking, just the joy of not thinking, and just of playing, because we know what we're doing, and we let everything else go. So, what's your take on that?
Jennifer said everything so beautifully. Music is something that I use for wellness in my life all the time. I believe within it is some magical component of health. I was thinking about this as I was driving in for this today, that Mozart says that it's the space between the words that is the music. And it's also the space between the notes that is the music. And so, especially when I play meditative music, I go someplace. You all know that, I close my eyes when I'm playing meditation music. And Dr. Lloyd used to say that within me lies an insular Tahiti, and that is just an unshakable place of great peace. And I listen to music too for various different reasons. I have different playlists for when I want energizing music, need it for working on a project, when I have chill music, when I'm typing some document, but I don't need to listen to the music too much, but I want a little atmospheric music, and definitely music to relive the beat of the soundtrack of our lives. So the rock music that we all grew up listening to, absolutely love that.
Yeah.
But I think about that comment about the space between the notes is music, and the space between thoughts is peace.
I like that. I like that a lot. And that's a big part of your playing too. When I'm like doing a prayer and you're playing in the background, just the way that your playing pulls you into the next measure because of the space that you pull between the notes. That's kind of the essence of your playing. You make us fall into the prayer by the way we have to fall into the next measure, right?
Yeah, I think Kent is masterful at that.
Yeah, I hate to compliment him while we're doing this, but he is. Yeah. And when you're praying, just like a couple of weeks ago, I was talking at the end, and he comes in playing "Drop Me." I mean, it's just because just that feel that you get of prayer and how music is a prayer in itself is really beautiful. It really is. Enough of that. Tom, what do you think about this?
Music's okay. I was thinking a lot about what Jennifer and Kent have already said about it, and I think for me, I think music can evoke memory. It definitely evokes emotion. I think a lot of actors, a lot of painters, a lot of other artists use music to get themselves in a zone and to create a feeling or an emotion that they want to take forward. And so I think that's interesting how music sort of is able to influence other art forms as well. And I think for me, I love rehearsing. I've said this to everybody at this table before, but rehearsing for me is just the most fun because you stay in that creative space and you're just trying to make it better, and you're just trying to get into the flow of the music, and performance is the natural outcome of that, but rehearsing is such a zen state for me, and it's so fun and creative. And the reason I'm here today with all of you is because I know we're going to be able to laugh while we're here. I know that we have had so many connections in music that it kind of transcends other friendships too. I think when you're able to create music together, I think it's somehow more intimate than just a casual acquaintance or friendship.
Yeah, and I feel that too. Like when we work on vocals, when we sit down and work on vocals together, and in the rehearsal space, and you just get to a place like, oh, this is where it's going. This is where it needs to be, and we can just figure that out, and we all know it when it happens, and there's just a great feel to that. And another thing I was thinking about with music is the tribal aspect of music. Like when we go to see live music in a concert, like when you go to Red Rocks. I remember a couple of years ago seeing Van Morrison at Red Rocks, and it's just starting to get dark, and they were just playing like straight ahead rock music, and you could feel this is tribal. This is our tribe together. We all know where this music is going, and we love going there, and it's just, it's a beautiful thing. And I think that's one of the things that we've really missed during the pandemic is live music, and just being able to go out to a club or to go to a concert and just feel that kind of tribal connection with people that you don't know, and yet you're dancing with them. And I love that part of it. I love that. And so I just want to touch on the health thing. How does music improve our health? I think it's on a cellular level myself. I think our cells are dancing with the music. Just we're doing it mentally, but I think our whole body's involved. And you talked a little bit about that too, the way it drops your whole body in and takes everything else away from it. It eliminates our internal dialogue for a few minutes, and all we've got is just that vibration going through us.
Yeah, you get to step out of the negative thoughts that you've been reeling in for a while, and just taking that break of of being in your own head, as you're saying, taking that break and singing a song that brings in a happy feeling, a happy energy, singing that song that brings in a peaceful feeling, a peaceful energy. Your cells get to relax into that other and out of your head for long enough that you get a break.
Yeah.
You get a break. If you do that often enough and long enough, you do that for 15 minutes a day, I think that's great. If you're able to then take that 15 minutes and later in the day that feeling that I had and think about that for 3 minutes, you can then, that's your touchstone. You can think about that and give your cells that break to feel, get out of your negative emotions, get into your happy place, get into those warm, fuzzy feelings of peace, of serenity, of happiness, of calm, of joy, of elation, fill in the blank, whatever it is you're needing in that moment. Find that touchstone that you've felt at some point in your life in music, or that you felt earlier in the day in music. You have that touchstone that you can bring into that moment to give yourself a break. And then the more often you're able to do that, the more you'll live, and that will become your stasis. That's the place where you live. Right? So when we're listening to the radio on the way home, are you really listening to the radio on the way home? Or are you doing an internal dialogue about everything that happened in your day? Don't listen to that internal dialogue. Give yourself that moment to listen to the music. Be in the music as you're driving home. Listen to those. Have that experience on your way home to give yourself a break from all of the other.
Yeah, I love that. Sometimes when you're driving along in your car and you just look over and somebody's just singing at the top of their lungs in the car.
Out, yeah.
I just love that. You know what I mean? They're just going for it, and they're just blotting out their internal dialogue and just singing their butts off. And I'm like, do that.
And they're anchoring into a moment that they had 20 years ago.
Speaking of music,
that's not my phone.
That's not my phone either.
That's not my phone either.
It's me, the guy who who wrote
Body
the song.
This dude out of
the guy who wrote the
podcast.
song. Turn off your cell phone. His cell phone is going off right now. And this is embarrassing. But then again, this is why you hope that an editor would cut this out of the thing. But he won't.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Because he's not getting paid enough
Notice
to edit
it's a
it.
melody that is interrupting.
I wish I would have written that song because I'd be fortunate now. Yeah.
So when you're singing your heart out in the song, right, in the car, in that moment, you have been transported back to a time before.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So the memory that Thom talked about, it evokes memory. It transports you back to exactly what we were talking about. It takes you out of the moment and it takes you to a time where you can't do anything but smile about the experience you had when you learned that song by listening to it every day after school or something.
Yeah.
Or seeing it live at Red Rocks with Van Morrison singing it, whatever. It takes you back to that moment. And I think music has the ability to do that more than anything. And I think that that's important to allow ourselves to go there.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, think about the song maybe that you had played at your wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you hear that song,
no kidding,
it can take you back, and it can just make you remember why you're still with that person.
Yeah.
You fall in love all over again.
No kidding.
Just in that moment.
Yeah.
So I got a question. How did you develop that thing of playing behind prayers? Just by doing it so much?
At Mile High, I just don't know really what moment the lights turned on, but I started doing that pretty early on, and one of our wonderful practitioners, Sadie, asked if I could accompany her on a cassette tape of meditation music somewhere in the bowels of our basement. I hope I find that someday. But that was the first clue that, hey, this is something that's really maybe not only for me an ability, I always hope, but a healing modality. So that has just, I never think about, if you think about it too much,
yeah,
then the muse goes away.
That's right.
So you don't think about it. You just be. You be the music. You don't perform the music. You are the music. At least that's from the creation standpoint. I had a question for you, Barry, and I know this may or may not be everybody's question, but I'm sure that people listening to this have an affinity for music. I've always wondered, what comes first with your songwriting, the lyrics or the music?
Well, hopefully I get a piece where the two are linked together.
Really?
Like just a hook of a piece of music that goes with a piece of word or a line, and then just start expanding it from there. And then that's kind of the seed that the song grows from. And it could be that it was a little bit of the chorus, or it could be that it's the end of the song and I got to work backwards, or it could be just something in the middle. But it's a piece, it's a hook.
It drops in. Wow.
It drops in, and it's like, yeah, I got to go somewhere with that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there a song, Barry, that you've written that that was healing in the moment?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, some of the, some of the deeper ones, that I've written. I wrote one for memorial I had to do with Dr. Patty once, and they said, well, we'd like you to do Surely the Presence and something else. And I'm like, okay, fine. And then I went home and I went, wow, this is deep and dark. What's something else could I write? And Guardian Angel came up, and it just started writing itself. And like 2 days later, I was singing it in the graveyard. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
But it just wrote itself. And it was so healing for me and so healing for the people I was singing it for. And I don't think I wrote it. I just wrote it down.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Countless memorials have been blessed with that healing energy of that song.
Yeah. And so, I don't take credit for it, but it's just, it's something that comes through when we get out of the way. All of us here are talking about how it feels to just get out of the way and let the music come through. It's the same thing with writing music. You get out of the way and the music comes from someplace else. And I think even if we're not performers, if we just enjoy listening to music, it gets us out of the way and brings us into the present moment, connected with the past moment sometimes, but it turns down our internal dialogue that's always coming at us in the world. And I think that's the healing gift of music right there, is that it brings us into the present moment. And like classical music, that kind of comes and goes, but we're still listening to music that was performed hundreds of years ago, and symphonies are still performing music that was performed hundreds of years ago. And when you drop in, you see the power of it. You just feel the power of an orchestra playing that music. And it's timeless, it's timeless, and you're talking about Mozart. People are still listening to Mozart. You're walking out the end of a wedding, something from Mozart will come up and it's like, wow, man, that's powerful.
And mathematicians are still trying to look into the intricacies that make Mozart great.
Right. We're trying to figure it out and chart it. It's not like that.
The guy's he must have been an alien. We don't know.
Yeah.
If you want to do the deep dive, check out the Mozart effect. And that's Don Campbell, the musicologist's research on how Mozart's music helps regulate the brain and can help. And their studies show that, kids taking tests and just in like grade school kids, it forms their mind somehow to be more focused and that they do better on testing. This is just not like hooey. It's a proven fact that certain kinds of classical music can really elevate the learning experience. So there's a whole bunch of CDs out. Remember that, you guys? CDs, you know what they are? Coffee coasters now.
Yeah, that's right.
I
still have plenty of them with my music on them.
My basement.
We all do. We all do. But it's interesting, in our culture, we try something that's beautiful and godlike, like Mozart's music. We want to get the science of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just our nature, just breaking things down, nature of it. But I think Mozart's music came from someplace else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it connects us to someplace else. And I think that's what good music does. It just brings us to a spiritual space, you know, and gets us out of our heads. That's where we started. What Jennifer was saying. It's just our heads are so filled with not only facts but of anxieties and things that we're worried about, you know, and music takes us to a different place from that, and that's healthy. That's healthy for us, healthy for ourselves, healthy for our whole thing. Yeah.
Amen.
Amen. All right.
How about everybody listening? Create your playlist. I have my barbecue party music. It's Kebmo blues. You know, everybody's got kind of music that they that just play with it. Have some fun thinking about what music energizes, what calms me down. Different for each person, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I love to hear that in the summertime. You know, I got a neighbor who, when he's out on the porch drinking a beer, will just play some music, and it's like, yeah, this is good. This is good. You know, and I just like that music that connects us. And as I said before, I'm really looking forward to this spring and summer coming up. That live music's going to be back, and we're going to be out there singing and dancing together outside. It's good.
No kidding.
We have a song in our family that it doesn't matter if we're driving down the road or if it comes on the TV or if it's playing on the radio in the house or whatever it is. But the moment that song comes on, doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter what's on the stove. It doesn't matter if you're in the middle of writing a sentence. It does not matter what you're doing. We have a family dance break. And everything stops for the 3 minutes and 42 seconds of that song. And the whole family just dances around. Just crazy dances around for 3 minutes. And the dog gets into it. Everybody gets into it. And it's so fun. But, I mean, we'll be driving down the road and it'll come on. And everybody's dancing in the car, dance break. And it's just so fun. You know, it's just one of those moments that I know years down the road, I mean, it's been happening for over a decade at this point, and years down the road, it's going to be one of those moments that'll just,
oh boy,
you know, it just,
that's fun to hear.
Like sucks you back in. So yeah.
I'd love to know what the song is.
It's Michael Bublé's Everything.
Really? I love that song.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's just so fun.
Yeah, I'm going to put in a shameless plug here and just let everybody know that there's music available from all of us, all four of us here, that's on the Mile High YouTube channel. So if you want to check that out, that's great. And we'll all be rich and famous, which is something I'm looking forward to. So, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys for coming in and kicking it around with me. And anybody that's listening, make a playlist. Make a playlist to move you through your days and different moods that you're in. And music is a healing thing. And let's keep using it. Let's keep singing. Thank you all for being here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Sure was fun.
See you next time.